Hi, it's Mo. At the beginning of 2026, I went through my RAB spreadsheet, which is my recently acquired books spreadsheet, which is where I keep all my recently acquired books, but it also is where I keep my series tracker. So every year I do a series tracker and I keep track of all the series that I'm in the middle of, and I mark off when I've read one of the series. Every year that I'm reading, I'm also adding series to that list. In the next year, I combine the new series and the old series, see where I'm at, try to make sure that I have captured everything in my series tracker. And this year, when I did that, I also went through and I made a priority to make progress in, priority to finish, and new and most excited markers for those series that fit into those categories. I thought today we would go through, talk about all the series I've been in the middle of, and then when I was thinking about this last night, I was thinking how there are some series that are up in the air and something that I would like to do in 2026 while I'm working on all of the other ways that I want to read down my physical TBR is I can think about reading these series and if I want to continue reading them. So it'll make more sense once I get going, but you can see here that I have the series title, the author, and then the books in the series. And then I've marked them with purple, they're active series. I've marked them with a little bit of bright blue for a priority to finish series. I've marked them with bright pink for priority to make progress in series. New and most excited about is marked with bright green. And then so I think what I'm going to do is use like a dark gray. When I know I'm going to DNF a series, when I'm not going to continue in series, I mark it with a light gray, but I think that a little dark gray marker would be good. Dark gray is going to be unsure to continue. We have A Cat in the Stacks Mystery by Miranda James. This is a cat cozy mystery series that I started last year about a man and his Maine Coon. So I'm going to keep all my cat cozy mystery series for now because I do work on cat cozy mystery vlogs, so they might come up again. So I don't want to say that I'm not continuing with any of those, but I'm also not like most excited about continuing with them. Next is another cat cozy mystery series, A Cat's in Trouble Mystery series by Leanne Sweeney. I talked about some of these in my New Year's tag as an answer to books that I would have liked to have read in 2025 but didn't get to. A Jersey Shore mystery series by Beth Sherman is a good example of that. I only have 2 books left in this series and I own both books, so I put this as a priority to finish. I've been reading the P.D. James Adam Dalgleish series for many, many years. I think I only have 2 left. It's a priority to make progress. I don't necessarily need to finish both books this year, but I would like to make progress in it. The Alchemical Journey series by Sean McGuire is one that I started last year. I am not in a rush to finish this or even to get to it this year. Amina Al-Sarafi by Shannon Chakraborty is one that I started a couple of years ago, and the new one is coming out this year. I think it's coming out in like April, so I did mark that as new and most excited because I am really excited to read the next one. Binti by Nadia Corfor is a series that I've been reading for a while. This is an Afrofuturism series. The Night Masquerade is the last of the novellas I have to finish. There's also a like short story that goes with these, but I don't know if I'll get to them. I would like to make a priority in 2026 to finish this, but I don't own the books, so this will have to be a finished series for me, but not one of the books that I own. Born by Jeff Vandermeer I started last year, I think, and I don't have any of the other books in the series, not a priority. Brewster Place by Gloria Naylor is a tough one because I loved The Women of Brewster Place, but it was one of the hardest books I've ever read and it's given me nightmares. I still get nightmares if I think about it, so I don't know if I'm really ready to move on to The Men of Brewster Place, even though I do have that one. Carry On City is Cassandra Khaw and Richard Kadri's horror sci-fi series, and I read The Dead Take the A-Train. The next book in that series is not out yet. Castle Perilous I would like to make progress in. It is a reread series for me and I do have a lot of the books physically, but they wouldn't count towards my TBR project. And here is the first book that I want to mark with the dark gray because the Chief Inspector Armand Gramache series by Louise Penny, I read the first in the series and I really, really loved, but I don't know if I really want to finish this series or even continue on with it. I do have the next in the series, which is A Fatal Grace, so I am going to try that one out and I am going to try and read it in 2026. and then decide if I want to continue on with the series. Darius the Great series, I've read the first one. I don't have the second one, not a priority. That's by Adib Karam. Days at the Murakami Bookshop. I should finish this series this year, or at least as many as are available, because I only have the second one to read. This is by Satoshi Yagasawa, and I can get it on audio. They're very quick, so I will try doing that. Doesn't count towards my own TBR though. Dayworld is one that I want to finish this year. This is by Philip Jose Farmer, and I do have a few of the novellas that I need to get to, or short stories, but I don't think I'll have very much luck finding those. So if I read the third Dayworld Breakup, I will have read all the major novels in that series. Detective Kasoke Kindate by Seishi Yokimizo is one that's not a priority. That's a Japanese detective series. Detective Robert Chow by Ed Lin is one that I would love to get to, but I haven't found the others in the series. Dr. Basil Willing by Helen McCloy is one that I would love to get to. I have 2 books in this, but they're out of order, so I would like to try and read one of those soon, but I don't know. It's not a priority. The Dublin Murder Squad, I loved Into the Woods so much. I enjoyed the likeness, but I feel like this needs to be one of the dark gray. I have to read the third, A Faithful Place, and decide if I want to continue on with this series, or maybe I just read the first 2 or 3 and those were the ones I really liked. I don't own A Faithful Place, so I will probably read that one on audio. Dune by Frank Herbert. I think I've already decided that I'm just going to read the second Dune Messiah and then stop reading them. I'll probably keep it as a supplementary series or something on my sheets, because we do have a lot of the Dune books, because my husband really likes that series, but I don't plan on continuing on. Easy Rollins, the Walter Mosley series, is another one I'm going to mark with the dark gray, because I think this one I'm not super interested in anymore. I think I have a couple downstairs in this series, or maybe I don't, but I should try reading the second in the series to just decide if I want to continue on with that. Ecotopia by Ernest Callenbach is one that I would love to get, but it's not a priority and I don't see myself getting to it anytime soon. Ernest Cunningham by Brian Stevenson. That's not what that author's name is. Brian Stevenson? Benjamin Stevenson. That's what it is. Ernest Cunningham by Benjamin Stevenson is one that I would love to get to. This is new and most excited for. I do need to read Everyone This Christmas Has a Secret, but the new book in the series, Everyone in This Bank is a Thief, is coming out. Fletch by Gregory MacDonald I want to keep reading, but is not a priority. Great Cities by N.K. Jemisin. I would love to read the last. I've read 1 short story, 1 full novel, and then there is 1 other novel in this duology that I would like to get to, but it is not a priority. Greentown by Ray Bradbury. I think I have all of the books except for 1 in the series, but it's not a priority. But the Greer Family Saga by Barbara Kingsolver is a priority this year. I would love to finish this series. I just have 1 more to go and I do own it. So that's a really good one that I should get to in order to read down my TBR. Hannibal Lecter is one that I would like to make progress in or finish. I have both the last 2 books, Hannibal and Hannibal Rising, so I would love to get to one of those. The Harlem Cycle by Chester Himes I love, and I would love to find more of and then read more of, but they're not a priority. Heartstopper I thought was fine. I read those online. They're not a priority. That's by Alice Oseman. The Henry Ben Collin series by John Dickinson Carr is a fun one. I have a couple in that series, not in order or anything like that, but I don't have any wish to prioritize it. The Hilda Adams series by Mary Robert Reinhardt, I have some of the short stories and some of the other books in the series, but it's not a priority. I'll just read Mary Robert Reinhardt. I read 3 or 4 a year. The House Murders by Yukio Asui is one of my favorites, and I think one is coming out this year. So these get translated every year, so hopefully I'll get to read one. That's one I'm new and excited about. Howl's Moving Castle, I do have the second in the series, but it's not a priority. Inspector Morse is a reread that I haven't actually really started, because I did read all of these since joining BookTube, but I read them in abridged form, so I want to read them unabridged. So not a priority, but I do have a couple. Inspector Thanet by Dorothy Simpson. I read a couple of a year, not a priority, but I probably will end up reading them. Another one that I would love to finish is the Ivy Nichols series by Audrey Cohen. This one I would have to read on audio, but I do want to finish that series this year. Japanese Haiku by Peter Pepper Press. I'm looking for the fourth one. When I find it, I'll read it. Jeeves and Wooster by P.G. Wodehouse is not a priority, but I'll probably read one of those this year at some point. The John Kripek Mystery by Chris Gaberstein is going to be a dark gray. I have one other in this series. I was kind of hoping that I would find an earlier one because I have one of the later ones, but I think actually I'm just going to read the one I have when I can, and then it'll be a TBR buster, but also I'll decide if I want to continue on with the series. The John Smith series by Christopher Farnsworth, I only have one more in and I would like to make this a priority to finish, but unfortunately I will have to read that one on audio. Key West by Lawrence Shames is another one I'm going to go ahead and put a dark gray tab onto because I've only read one in this series and I did like it and I did want to get to the rest, but I feel like this is a series I'm going to be reading on audio anyway, so I might as well just read one more and decide if I want to read them all or if I want to take this off my series list. The Leonard McGill series by Walter Mosley is another one that I'm going to mark this way. I have a couple of these down in the basement. I do want to get to at least one more of them, but then I'm going to decide if I want to, and the same goes with the Lou Griffith Mysteries from James Salas. This one, I enjoyed the first one, but I didn't like that it was a white writer writing a black male main character, so I want to read the second one and see if I want to continue on. Lord Peter Wimsey by Dorothy L. Sayers, I will continue on, but no priority. Lore Olympus by Rachel Wyeth, I will continue on, but I read these free online, so it's not a priority. The Magical Cats Mystery by Sophie Kelly, I think I have one way later in the series, but it's Cat Cozy Mystery, so not a priority and also not coming off the list. The Mid-Century New York series by Cat Sebastian, I really could read the first in this series and then decide if I want to continue on. I think there's now one more and there's like a novella or a short story, but I'm going to leave that it is as is. Not a priority to check into, also not a priority to get rid of. Middle Earth by J.R.R. Tolkien. I would like to make progress in this because I really need to finish my reread of The Two Towers. I'm like halfway through and I just need to finish. Midnight Louie by Carol Nelson Douglas is another Cat Cozy Mystery series. Miss Marple by Agatha Christie is one that I'd like to make progress in. I love Miss Marple. I will always read Miss Marple until I'm done with the stories. The Mrs. Polifax series by Dorothy Gilman is one that I want to continue on and make progress in this year. A new one from last year is Noodle Shop Mystery by Vivian Chen. I read the first in the series, Death by Dumpling, and actually I'm just going to keep this one on here, not a priority, but I will probably read the rest of these on audio. Pause. Eating Leftovers Late Lunch. Philip Marlowe series by Raymond Chandler, not a priority, will continue. Postal Inspector Madden is a new series for me. I started last year and that is by Doris Miles Disney and I definitely want to make progress in this. I bought a lot of 12 Doris Miles Disney books, but I don't know which goes in the series because for some reason they're not listed that way on Goodreads, which is very weird. So I have to go through and figure out which ones are actually following Postal Inspector Madden and then decide which one I'm going to read. Red Dwarf by Grant Naylor should be a priority because I do own the second one, but I don't know when I'll continue on with that series. Richard Hannay by John Buchan actually is going to be dark gray tab because I do have Green Mantle. I don't know if I want to continue on with this series, so this is one that I really need to read and then decide if I'm going to continue on with. Roderick Allen by Niall Marsh is one that I'll probably continue, even though it's not my favorite. I'm not going to mark it, but it's not a priority. Ross Agency Mystery by Delia C. Pitts. I don't own any more of, or it would be a priority because I did love the first one, Lost and Found in Harlem. Shadow of the Leviathan by Robert Jackson Bennett. I'm not sure when the next one is coming out, although I know there is going to be a third, so when that comes out, I'll read it. The Skip Langdon series by Julie Smith. I have a couple more I'm trying to read these in order and I'm missing the next one, so I'll probably wait and try to get that next in the series. Spice Isle Bakery Mysteries by Olivia Matthews is one that I would read on audio, and I do want to continue on with the series, but it's not a priority. Spy Family X, I have the second one in the series, but it's not a priority. That's by Tetsuya Endo. Superintendent William Meredith by John Bood. I think I have some later ones in the series. Not a priority, will continue. Susan Ryland, The Magpie Murders. I just have one more in the major part of this series that I should get to, and I do want to make a priority to finish, because this is one that I don't know if I still am gonna like this series, but since there's only one more, I might as well read it. I do have to read that one on audio though. The Sworn Soldier by T. Kingfisher, What Stalks the Deep. As soon as I find that one, I'll read it. It is one that I'm really excited about. It is a new series that I started last year, and I believe that she'll write more in the series as well. Taipei Night Market by Ed Lin. I'm actually up to date with for the ones that I own, because I did read Incensed, the second in the series, in February. The next two I probably will read on audio, but I'll try to find as well. Tales of the City by Amistad Moffat is one of my all-time favorite series. I'm at the point now where I haven't read them, and I do have, I think, all but one of the books. I'll read these throughout the year. The Borrowers by Mary Norton. I actually was thinking about this one last night, because this is a middle grade series, and I'm not super into middle grade, but I've been reading a little bit more middle grade and YA this year to just get rid of the books that I have. So I think I would like to prioritize making progress in this series this year, because I have two of the books, and I was originally going to read them in order, but I'm like, why don't I just read the books that I have? The Cat Who series is a reread for me. I probably will reread the second in the series, which I did buy physically at some point, but I don't know when. The Murderbot series by Martha Wells, I read all on audio. I will probably read one of these this year. The Thursday Murder Club, I will read as soon as it comes out, when the next one comes out. I read the fifth in the series last year, and when the next one comes out, I'll read it. The Vampire Chronicles by Anne Rice. If I find, this says I have The Tale of the Body Thief. It's probably in the basement. I definitely will be continuing on with this series, but not anytime soon necessarily. The Wayward Children series by Sean McGuire. I already read the 11th in the series in January, and I read those as soon as they come out. I read them on audio, but I would love to get physical copies of all of them. The Wormwood Trilogy by Tade Thompson. I probably will end up reading on audio, but I would like to get the rest in the series as well. And I think I have to reacquire Rosewater, because I lent it to someone and I don't think I'm getting it back. The Tommy and Tuppence series by Agatha Christie. I will make progress in at some point, no rush. The Vandy Myrick Mystery series. I read Death of an Ex, which was the second in the series last year on audio, and I don't know when the third in the series is coming out, but hopefully at some point soon, and I will read that when it does come out. The Vera Wong Mystery Series by Jessie Q. Satanto. I will read when I find the next in the series, or if I see it on audio, no rush there. We Solve Murders by Richard Osman. I don't know when the next in the series is coming out, but I will read the next in the series. Well Met by Jen DeLuca. I don't have the third or the fourth. They used to be available on audio, but now they're not. So I think I'll have to find the third and the fourth, or wait till they reappear on audio. Whiteout by Greg Rucka is a graphic novel series that I will, whenever I find the next one, I will read it. Wilhelmina Murder series, there's one more book that I haven't read online by Kevi of the channel Say Kevi, and I will eventually get to this one. I just have to track it down again and figure out where online is. I'm going to mark that as a priority to finish. I don't know if she's writing anymore or not, but if she writes more, I'll read more. But for now, I'll finish it, and I'll try to make that a priority this year. I actually think I should make the Will Darling series a priority to finish this year too. I do have two novellas in this that I don't know how to get a hold of, but Subtle Blood is on audio, and I've read the first two on audio, so I might as well continue that on audio, and I might as well finish out the majority of this series. And then maybe I'll make an area in my spreadsheet for series that have like novellas. So like I finished the main part of the series, but then have like novellas to hunt down. I said I would like to make progress in the Xenogenesis series by Octavia E. Butler this year. I have all 3 books in the trilogy, but I've only read the first one. So those are all the series that I started the year with. Let's count those. Okay, so that's 84 series that I started the year with, and then in only the first 2 months, I have also started the Rocky series by Kathy Newman. I read Sandwich, and I would continue on and read Wreck. I read the first in the Detective Auntie Investigates series by Uzma Jalaluddin. I would definitely continue on with this series. I read the first in the Deep Dish Mystery series by Mindy Quigley. I will continue on with that one, but I will read those on audio. And I did read an Annalise Spain mystery by Patricia Rayburn. So this is one that I don't think I will continue on with. Not because I didn't like it, but just because I didn't like it enough. It is a cozy mystery series by a Black author about a Black main character in Denver, Colorado in the early 1900s, 1910, 1912, something like that. So it is fun, but it wasn't like my favorite story. So I don't know. I don't know if I would continue on. So that's 4 more. So that's 88 series altogether that I have going. How many did I say I was going to try to read? One more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 of those that I want to look into, read the second book, and then decide if I'm going to continue on with the series. That seems like a very doable number, and then it would get me down to 80 series as of today, but I'm sure I will read the start of more series throughout the year. I meant to do like an elevator pitch for all these books, but I didn't, so if you spotted any series in this video that you are unsure of what they are, or you want an explanation of, or if you want my further thoughts on, let me know and I can do a follow-up video if that's something that you'd like to see. So those are the 88 series that I am currently in the middle of, the 8 series that I want to decide if I want to continue, all the series that I want to make a priority to make progress in this year, and some series that I want to prioritize finishing this year. Let me know if you've read any of the books that I mentioned here. Let me know if you're in the middle of any of these series or if you've completed any of them. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!